Our next question is a true bearing question, and it says calculate the true bearing from Duscorp Farm in D1 to Trigbeacon 31 in E3. So in D1 we have the Duscorp Farm. If you have a look there, there's the name Duscorp and there's the little farm houses. So we're going to indicate that that is our starting point. It is from Duscorp that we are measuring. So based on the instructional video that I did before, you can see that that is where you're going from. That is where you will put your north-south line. We're then joining up to the Trigbeacon in E3. So if we have a look at E3, there's our Trigbeacon we used before. We want to know what is the direction from the farmhouse to the Trigbeacon if we were looking in that direction. In fact, actually we're doing a true bearing. So we actually are looking at not the direction as in north, south, east or west. Technically, if we looked at it, it would then be a southeasterly direction, but we don't want the direction. We want to be accurate and work out the bearing. So bearing, we want to go from north, clockwise. We want to knock. Okay, just as a little reminder for you. We're going to measure the actual degrees. So we use our protractor and we measure clockwise from north all the way to that line, measuring the actual degrees. And when you measure those degrees, you will get around about 130 degrees. Now there's going to be a 3-degree range on either side to allow for some flexibility. So you need to measure very accurately to be within that 3-degree range. Remember to always measure from north, place your protractor. If I have to draw a protractor on top for you, what it would look like, you're going to place your protractor like this, okay? That's why the 360-degree protractors are much nicer, because it's easier to place them and you don't have to add anything. If you have any bearing going beyond 180 degrees, so beyond that, you'd have to then add on 180 plus whatever. But if you look at this example, your little cross in the protractor will be aligned on the actual Duscorp Farm. You're going to read from 0 degrees, read clockwise on your actual protractor, and that line will then be in line with 130 degrees. Okay, we're going to now have a look at true bearing, where we have to say we go past 180 degrees, and if you've only got half of a protractor, not a full 360, you would then have to say 180 plus the extra angle. So in this example, you have to look at the true bearing from the police station in B5. So if we go to B5, here is our police station. Okay. And we're now going to measure the bearing from the police station. In other words, this is going to be our north-south line, okay? And we're going to go to the bridge in C4. So if we have a look in C4, there is a bridge going over a river, and that is the bridge we want to look at along that road. So we want to measure along this pathway. There's actually a second one. Here's another bridge up here. But the one that we actually want is the one furthest south, and in a test we would have to specify. So we're going to connect the two, and the actual road even connects it for you, and that then is the direction that we want to go in. So if we're doing the bearing here, we want to have a look at going from north degrees, all the way past 180 to that angle there. So you're going to have to measure 180 degrees if you don't have a 360, and then plus from here to there the size of that angle. Okay, using 0 as a reference there and the size of what that angle actually is. And you will then get your final answer as 224 degrees. And the reason it's 224 is you would then measure this little angle as 44 degrees, and you say 180 plus 44 to get your final answer. And that is why the 360 is quite nice, because you can just place the entire circle protractor over the entire feature, make sure that your starting point is right in the middle, and then you read clockwise all the way through to that final angle.